Good afternoon. My name is Maya Hayakawa. I hope that you all had a lovely weekend. You're watching Inside Business. Today we have a great show ahead. In Tokenomics, we'll be taking a look at innovation and technology and what some of the trends are. The ICO awards are coming up shortly. And so in studio we have Harry Har, Editorial Director of East Africa, and he'll be telling us a little bit more about what to expect during the awards. Real quick, maybe I could ask you, what is the award ceremony all about? Who is it that you seek to award during these award ceremony?
We actually award CIOs, who are the Chief Information Officers, or the guys who are behind the technologies that are driving business. So this is a way of acknowledging the work that they do and getting them recognized within the business.
Now, this year, Nairobi will actually be holding the CIO 100 Symposium and Award Ceremony, which is expected to have about 500 potential delegates and some of the largest IT decision makers gathering in East Africa. Joining me in studio is Harry Har, who's the Editorial Director of CIO East Africa, to give us a little bit more insight and tell us a bit more of what we can expect out of this year's Symposium and Award Ceremony. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me here. So CIO is very exciting for us because the CIO 100, we look at, it's a survey-based activity. So we do a survey which looks at the different elements of how you adopt into technology. So we survey companies from NGOs to private sector companies and even government agencies to look at how are they using technology. Yeah, so it's not the supply side of technology, but the demand side of technology, where people look at their pain points, then decide to pick a certain technology, then implement that technology. Then now we look at, okay, so after all this process, how has it helped your business? So it's a very interesting, initiative. Then after we do that research, then we rank the companies in terms of innovation. But not just innovation, we also look at how has it helped the business. Because at the end of the day, we believe that technology should be serving something. It should not be technology for technology's sake. At the end of the day, businesses need to generate profits for their organizations. Organizations like government needs to have an impact on the citizens. So we look at how is this technology helping or assisting the different businesses and different organizations achieve their goals.
And what are some of these trends that you're seeing in terms of adopting new technologies, and in what sectors are we seeing it being translated into?
Several sectors are playing different places in terms of what technology they're using, but we're seeing a lot of, most companies are now looking at implementing ERPs. This is a enterprise resource planning software. These are things that people never used to think about in the past. But we're seeing a lot of people now going into ERPs. We're also seeing a lot of guys now moving into the cloud. Big corporations, big local companies are going into the cloud in different ways. Either they're putting their applications, their entire applications into the cloud, or they're using mail onto the cloud. So we're seeing a lot of cloud services as well. We're also seeing a few people trying different things in Internet of Things. I have this example I normally like sharing, where actually guys are using Internet of Things to monitor water wastage on pipes. So there's some interesting technologies that people are adopting.
And where would you say that Kenya and East Africa, on a regional level, where is the state of the ICT industry in terms of competing in the global market?
I think Kenya is ahead of the pack in East Africa, but that doesn't mean that the other countries are not doing a lot of things. But Kenya, if you look at, one is the adoption of technology is much faster. And I think we are also seeing adoption of technology in the corporate and also usage. of technology. It is much faster. But we're also seeing this new crop of Kenyans who are also building solutions. So there's the imported technology, which is coming from the big communication and technology companies. But there's also local companies which are coming up with interesting solutions as well. If you look at globally, adoption of technology in the corporate and also usage of technology, it is much faster. But we're also seeing this new crop of Kenyans who are also building solutions. So there's the imported technology, which is coming from the big communication and technology companies. But there's also local companies which are coming up with interesting solutions as well. If you look at globally, Kenya is known for mobility. It's a mobile fast country. So people are, even in the US and other places, they still look to Kenya to see how the Kenyan ecosystem is adopting and is taking up mobile software, mobile applications. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges that we're facing, though, in IT adopting IT?
I think the biggest challenge I see, especially from a user perspective, is we still have a wait and see kind of wait and see attitude in terms of adopting technology. Yes, we have some really good companies which have gone all out to utilize technologies, but there's some companies who, if they just invested a bit of money into technology, they would increase efficiencies, increase productivity, and become global players. But there's still some traditional companies that haven't really been bought into the technologies side of things. Then the other challenge I see, especially for the local companies, is people are still very fixated in having solutions from the US, from the UK, from Europe, as opposed to actually implementing solutions which have been homegrown, so to speak. So there's that adoption issue of companies not trusting technologies that have been developed locally. But we're also seeing, I'll give you an example of this company that build a software, actually it's a gaming software, where they built a gaming software, then put it up into the cloud, and they got about 350,000 downloads within the first month. But 90% of those were from Asia, not from Kenya or from Africa. So there's also that usability issue where we don't use our own. So it's a slight downer.
And in that case, what can we do then to support local applications, support local IT innovations?
I think we just need to keep on building the awareness. We need to keep on calling it out. We need to keep on encouraging people that these guys, the software these guys built and the software these guys built are almost the same. But most of the time you'll find that this software that you're buying from the US or from Europe is probably 10 times more expensive than this software that has been built locally. But it doesn't mean that the quality of that software is inferior. So we just need to look at, and also I think people need to start thinking about, okay, what am I using this technology for? So you're not just going out to buy tech without actually knowing what your pain point is, and therefore being able to identify the right solution for your problem. Because you see, we've seen places where you use a sledgehammer to kill a fly. You have a slight problem, but you go and buy the most expensive software solution, which actually you end up using probably 1% of the functions, of the functionality of that software. So we just need to be careful how to adopt technology, how to pick it, and let's support the local software companies as well.
And from where you sit, do you think that the government is doing enough to support the growth of the ICT sector, and is it in line with Vision 2030?
I think the government is doing its part, because if you look at the different things that, for instance, the ICT Authority has been doing, they've been forefront in terms of promoting technology. But at the end of the day, it's a business decision. So, you know, as a business, you need to be out there fighting with the rest of the people and making sure that, you know, if it's your brand is out there. If it's your software, people are using your software. And there are many, you know, like, for instance, I like the way American software companies do it. What they do is they tell you, download this, use it for free for a month. Then if you don't like it, you don't have to pay. Yeah, and what happens is you will download it, you'll start using it. By the end of the month, you're hooked. So you actually end up paying for it as opposed to letting it go. So we just need to be creative on how we bring our technologies out, and you know, we have to keep on doing it.
Do we have the capacity, though, in terms of skills, or is there still a skills gap in terms of where we want to go and where we're at right now? Do you feel that the government still needs to do a lot more in terms of building the skills?
Skills is a global issue in terms of tech. It's a global issue. If you went out to look for Oracle DBAs, for instance, if you put an advert, you'll be hard pressed to fill your positions, or if you ask for a certain qualification within a certain software, it's a global issue, and I think in terms of government investing in building the skills of IT people within the country. I think there's room for improvement. There's definitely room for improvement. But maybe I can bring you to your attention to this. There's a program that was started at the ICT Authority called the Presidential Digital Talent Program. I think that's a really, really good program to actually up our game in terms of the skills. Because in this program, I think the last cohort was 400 interns from different universities who go through a series of trainings from different organizations. You know, Microsoft is involved, SAP is involved, EMC is involved, Cisco is involved. So, you know, if this program, if it's managed properly, we'll be able to fill a lot of the, there's some companies, I'm telling you right now, who cannot fill some positions in IT. So skills is a big one.
Now, let's move over to the CIO Symposium and Award Ceremony that's happening later on this year. Yeah. What can we expect? When is it happening? It's
on the 10th and 11th of November. So if I speak about the symposium first, so during the symposium, we're going to have some really good speakers, people from different companies and also people from within East Africa and outside East Africa. But we're also going to have, and this is where we call it a peer-to-peer learning experience, where we get CIOs talking to other CIOs. So for instance, you get the CIO for Britam coming to say, hey, we're implementing this solution because this is the problem that we had. And when we had this problem, we decided that the route to go is this one. And this is how we implemented the solution. And this is where we are now. So it becomes a very interesting way of learning because you learn from people who are doing it. So it's not people who are just talking about it. These are people who have done it. So that is one thing. The other thing is for the first time, we're going to bring startups who have B2B solutions to actually pitch to the CIOs. So we're doing the curation right now on who is going to come. Then at the awards, so we are looking for the CIO of the Year award. This is the biggest CIO award that is given every year. Last year we had the CIO of Brigham Jack Miner, who was the CIO of the Year. So this year we are hoping to get a new guy. I don't know who that will be. Then we have another award for what we call the CIO 100 Leadership Award, which is awarded to somebody who may not necessarily be in IT, but they make decisions that impact on the IT industry. So that will also be interesting to see how that goes. And of course, we rank the companies from, so we have four bands of awards. We have the gold band, silver band, bronze band, and ivory band. Yeah.
And finally, the symposium, is it open to everyone, and how can they get involved if they want to be a part of your symposium?
So it's open to everybody, but we normally say C-level IT or C-level business, because most of the people there will be discussing technology and business. And for somebody to, you need to register, and you can register on the CIO website, that's cio.co.ke, to get a ticket.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That was all on the CIO Symposium and award ceremony that is expected to happen early this November. If you want to get involved, then you can always visit their website to get more information. Let's take a look now at FactFile. Did you know that Google indexed its 1 trillionth unique URL on July 25th, 2008? That is thought to be about 20% of all pages on the internet, but a high percentage of the World Wide Web. Now, Google actually produces about 0.2 grams of carbon dioxide at every search. But since you hardly get an answer from one search, a typical search session produces about the same amount of carbon dioxide as does boiling a kettle. Moving over to Blackboard, where we take a look at different definitions. Today's word of the day is combining internet, which is actually, blended learning, which is combining internet-based distance learning with face-to-face tuition. Now, it's used to describe combining offline ICT-based materials with more traditional materials such as books, audio cassettes, and video cassettes. And we can see that the government is adopting this method of learning through their platform, DigiLearning School. Well, that brings us to the end of our show for today. My name is Maya Hayakar. Do stay tuned for Sports Hub up next, and do join us once again tomorrow, same time, same place.